Hi everyone, today I thought I'd share a recipe my mom taught me, apricot jam, how she taught me how to make it. So some of you might make it different, if you have different techniques, that's fine. This is just how my mom taught me. Um, yeah, if you like my channel, if you like my video, please consider liking, subscribing, and yeah, just following along for my recipes or whatever else videos I post or you're interested in. So yeah. Also, like in my recipe, I am not telling you to have your jars ready further on in the video. So I'm just going to tell you here right now, have your jars ready before you start any of the cooking process. It makes it a lot easier. Or at least after putting the apricots on the stove, have your jars ready, nicely cleaned, have your lids, your everything ready to go. So I'm gonna, just do that quick. I left my stirring pot, which I'm later gonna tell you, do not stop stirring. I left that without stirring, so I'm gonna stir in between a little bit, just go, but if you're new, don't do that. Don't do that on your first try. Have the jars ready beforehand. And yeah, if you would like some more Mennonite recipes, chicken noodle soup, zama barsh, which is like summer sausage or smoked sausage. I don't know exactly. Don't remember the name. Recipes, carrot soup, which was a very popular one. Any other Mennonite recipes you know of that you would like me to show you how to make, just comment them below. Is Kendra having fun picking up apricots? Yeah. Oh, you're doing a good job. Let's see how many you already got. There, that is a lot of them.
I want more.
You want more? Let's pick them all up. So what you do once you got all your apricots picked is you wash them, of course. Have a little helper that helps you put everything in the bowl. That sure helps. Have your sugar ready, of course. Have your pot ready. Have your container ready for putting the stone in. And it doesn't matter. They don't have to be split prettily. Just get the stone out. Some people don't even. Then I don't like my stones in there later, so I do destone them first when I make, I don't know, some call it jelly, some call it marmalade, some jam, I don't know. Supsel it is in German, so there is no arguing about calling it Supsel. So this is aprikosen Supsel, so yep. Figured our neighbor lady, in case she sees it, thank you for these wonderful apricots. I got some for my sister-in-law and her mother. I already made a little bit, but it is disappearing in our house super fast. Everybody's loving it, and I'm making them again. As a child, my mom used to make these so much, I was super bored already of them. But after a few years of not really eating them, my kids didn't really know apricot jam, aprikosen Supsel. So they are loving it. A nice fresh bun, or even not a fresh one. But my husband eats them with just aprikosen Supsel. He puts some cream on there and eats the bun just like that. I have also learned to eat it with butter and jam, just the jam on its own, jam with peanut butter. A lot of ways. Comment below, what way do you eat your bread with jam? Any kind of jam. What's your favorite jam? I love all kinds of jams, but right now I am loving this one. Just a stone, the rest goes in the pot. Got myself a little helper here, as you can see. Is Kendra a happy helper?
Yes.
Good. I like happy helpers. Do you like apricots?
Yes.
She's enthusiastic about it. Ooh, see? Start doing that in time. And I'll be back once I got all of those in there. So, okay, it takes a little bit longer if I just use one hand too. destone them. So yeah, see you in a bit. So what I did now, I got all the stones out. It gave almost a liter container full of stones. I put most of them in here to make them nice and fine, you know, make them really smooth sopsel. And these over here are just a little bit. I'm gonna mash them, you know, leave chunks in to have it a chunky one. Some people prefer chunky over smooth and blended. So yeah, these have nothing except for the apricots in there now, the destoned apricots. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put about 1 cup of water in the big pot because it has more floor space, bigger diameter, just so that it has some liquids at the bottom and doesn't burn and stick to the bottom. So the smaller one, of course, it has less of a diameter. So I'm gonna put like a little less than half a cup because it's a lot less product. And about a 1/4 cup. The rest I'm just gonna drink. Gotta stay dehydrated. Not dehydrated, gotta stay hydrated. Where's my language going, eh? So I'm gonna move these to my oven over here. Never mind all the noise. While holding one phone in the hand, I make a bit of a mess. And don't mind my dirty stove either, because well, tomorrow the maid will come, she'll help me clean it. So when you have 4 kids, plus homeschooling and stuff, doing stuff extra, it's handier to have a maid to come and help you out once a week to get things done. Oh, this one I'm gonna have to turn down quite a bit because I have a bit of a special oven, you know. And down back there I have a chicken noodle soup going, so yeah. And this you have to stir constantly. Currently I don't have to stir it all the time, just mix it through here and there once it softens up so that they all soften up. But the one that I'm gonna mash, this one, I'm gonna use this one for sometimes to stir it, and then I'm just gonna mash them up already with a potato masher, you know. That way there is like pieces in there, but it's not all the way blended like a smoothie. Some people prefer that texture, so there, I'm gonna let it rest at that a little bit, and I'll get back to you guys in a bit and show you what the next step is, and have your sugar ready. So what I did, I left the pot unattended for a bit, and this got burned at the bottom. So no mushy ones, I guess. Luckily it was before I added the sugar, so less money wasted. So yeah, now it's just boiling even though there is no fire because of the heat. So this is a bigger pot. So yeah, this is going good so far, yep. And this is ready to be blended, I think. All of it is nice and soft and mushy. So I'll take out my hand blender and give it a good blend. Yep, this is working beautifully. It's getting all smooth, smoothie-like. You can also put it in a blender if you don't have a hand blender. Just I do have a hand blender, and it's less cleaning involved than with a actual blender, so Yeah, then this one. Plus, see how fast that was? The whole pot. So, and yes, my poor little hand blender is kind of on its last leg, but that leg is still lasting, so we're good to go. And then I gotta add the sugar. Also just took Owen, he's in my other hand, so if the phone moves and the video is like kind of moving, it's because probably he's moving. He's almost 10 months and he's strong and heavy. So the way it works with the sugar, you do half sugar, half of this liquid or this smoothie blend-ish. But I'm just going to eyeball it the way my mom did. I learned a half and half ratio, but yeah. And most Mennonite women probably know a lot of recipes we learned from mom is just put this in until it looks right, or put it in until it tastes right. So yeah, that used to frustrate me growing up a lot. It was, sometimes I would call my mom and I wanted a recipe, something I hadn't made in a long time or before, something that she would usually make. And then I would ask her, okay, well, how much of this do I put in? How much of that do I put in? And just until it looks right, just until it tastes right. And I'm like, but I wanted the recipe, I wanted the ratios, I wanted the measurements. And she's like, well, I don't know, I don't measure it. So that was very frustrating sometimes, but yeah. Once you put in the sugar, you gotta mix it all in real nice like that. So as you can see, it is mixing very well, and it looks almost all over very smooth. That little bit, we're gonna be fine with that. Doesn't matter. And there's another little piece, but some lucky winner will get that on their bun. So that is fine. So now we're gonna put on the heat a bit more, and we're gonna just like cook it for another some minutes until it looks nice and syrupy. And you do have to count for the fact that it does thicken as it cools down. So once you get to this part, you can't stop stirring. You really stir it. You stir it from the bottom. If not, the bottom will burn. I have burned pots of jam that my mom put me to stir because I didn't stir them deep enough at the bottom when I was a little girl. So you really want to stir them from the bottom, all the way at the bottom. And make sure you move them all the way around, not just at one point like that, all the way around, or you're going to burn it. And you're not going to get any goodies. And especially once you put the sugar in, I mean, that's when you put stuff in that you paid for also, other than the fruits. Like these I didn't have to pay for. Some of these fruits you can get for free, those that are very abundant. And apricots are something that are very abundant around here. So I heard that this year some people, for the very nice fresh ones, they had to pay like 5 pesos a kilo, like for 1 kilo, and 5 Mexican pesos. So, which is super duper mega cheap, but first time I'd ever heard that anybody had to pay for some. So yeah. Anyway, stir, stir, stir until it looks thick. I'll be back once it gets closer to the point of being ready again. So once it starts bubbling up like this, you will need to turn down the heat a little bit. Like just turn it down a smidgen to just until it stops. And also stir. I stopped stirring a little bit just to show you guys. So yeah, stop stirring. Start stirring. Really make sure you're stirring it well. And as long as you can keep it under control, you're good. but just make sure that it doesn't boil over. It's not going to be good for your stove. Any other messes that are not fun to clean up, this would be worse. So this is still coming up and higher. So I'm going to turn it down even a bit more and stir more. So really stir and have fun with it. Consider it your exercise, your arm exercise for the day. And the bigger the pot, the more you make, the more of an exercise you had in. See, now it's slowing down. It is slowly just, well, if I stir it, it's slowly simmering, so yeah. But we also don't want it to stick at the bottom, so we're not going to stop stirring any more than I already did, but yeah. Set and go. So now we're going to do the canning. It is easier if you just do it on a small burner with your heat on low, and then just start canning it into your clean jars. We prefer half-liter jars, but if you're a bigger family, a liter jar will do. And if you're a smaller family who doesn't eat that much, you can also use even smaller jars. As you probably know, if you do some canning, stores have a lot of variety in sizes. So whatever size you prefer, just grab it, and yeah, don't overfill it. I was about to do that. And in case you put anything on the sides, have a towel ready and for drying. If not, then hurry on up and close it. You don't need to close it very tight. You just, this has to be warm while you put it in, or hot, more like on slow heat cooking. And, ooh, that one I didn't close enough. See, mistakes are made sometimes. There. And actually that one is not going to close because it has dirt. So we're going to just put that in the fridge for consuming right away. Lessons are learned. Anyway, and moving on to the next jar. Hopefully this one turns out better, doesn't show you what other mistakes you can make. Also, you don't want to get it on your hands, because this time, I guess I got more heat resistant, but this is really hot. Sugar, when it's in a liquid state, basically, it is hot. It can really burn you. Be careful. If you're not sure of yourself, oh, this one I did make dirty. See? Well, there I showed you another mistake you can make. Just wipe that off. Dry it. Don't leave it wet, because that will not let it seal properly. And I'm not an expert on sealing and stuff, but this we did learn with my mom. So this time I closed it firmer, so there. See? And we're going to let them rest there overnight. And tomorrow we should have really nicely vacuum sealed jars of jam. And yeah, those that don't, just put them in the fridge and make sure you consume them right away. You do not want to store those. They will spoil and it could make you sick, and I do not recommend that. You want to cut out, then we can. So this is the finished result. I got that big pot of jam. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 liters plus a little extra, which is what we always put in any type of container you have. Just put it in the fridge. And this is the one here that spilled before. We're going to put that in the fridge right away as well. We're not going to store this long term because that would just not work. But these, some of them have popped already, and some more are going to pop. Don't mind Owen in the back. He's nice and snug in a diaper in this warm weather. So yeah, and here's this yummy jam, and it just is quite liquidy because it is still warm. And our little parakeets are very happy. There's a little giraffe there, and with this warm weather we have here in Mexico, they're happy with their weather. with the little wind blowing by the window. Which, by the way, we got more animals before we even named our last one, so yeah. Anyway, here is, very good. So, yeah, it's amazing that all those things can come out of these apricots, which is awesome.